While I was in chemotherapy, he took weekend trips with his cousin. When I found her underwear in our laundry, he said, "You're barely a wife anymore." I nodded, then said, "Let's go to your office together." He laughed until we walked in and saw. I never wanted my life to be some messy, dramatic story you'd read on Reddit. But here I am, writing every detail because it's the only thing that helps me feel sane. My name doesn't matter. Just know I'm a real woman from Charlotte, North Carolina. I used to teach 4th grade. I loved it. Sticky fingers, art projects, little voices calling me Ms. H. I was happy. Then I got sick. It started with a lump. I noticed it one morning while putting on lotion. I told myself it was nothing, maybe a cyst. But deep down I knew. My mom had breast cancer in her 40s. I went to the doctor alone. Jeremy was in Atlanta for a conference. Later I found out he was in Asheville. With her. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Stage 2.
Eher positive.
Aggressive. I sat in the exam room holding the papers while the doctor explained my treatment plan like I was hearing it through water.
Chemo. Surgery.
Radiation. Hormone therapy after. I remember thinking, who will feed the cat if I die? I texted Jeremy. "Can you call me when you're free?" I got the results. He didn't answer for 3 hours. When he finally called, he sounded distracted. "Hey babe, can it wait until tonight?" I'm in the middle of a panel. I didn't even tell him. I just hung up. He came home the next night, flowers in hand. He kissed my forehead and acted concerned. He said he'd be there for everything. At first he went to the first 3 chemo sessions, brought snacks, got me ginger ale, rubbed my back when I threw up. Then something shifted. He started working weekends again. Said things like, "You should sleep, don't worry about me." I chalked it up to stress. I looked awful. I had no hair, no breasts, no energy. The first time he mentioned Jessica, he said, "I'm helping my cousin with her divorce. She's a mess. You'd like her if you knew her." I didn't ask questions. I was too exhausted to push. I had ports in my chest and bruises on my arms from IVs. I felt more like a patient than a wife. But then came the thong. It was laundry day. I was folding clothes on the couch, trying to keep myself moving because lying down too much made my joints ache. I picked up one of Jeremy's shirts and felt something thin tucked in the sleeve. At first, I thought it was a sock. But when I unrolled it, it was a pale pink lace thong. Size small. I stared at it for a full minute. My mind blank. Then I stood up, walked into the living room where he was on his laptop, and held it up like a flag. "This yours?" I said flat. He looked up, blinking like I'd just woken him from a nap. "Must be Jessica's," he said. I didn't say anything. She probably mixed it in by accident. I was at her place last weekend, remember? You did your laundry at her house? She needed help. I didn't answer. I just stared at him. Not angry. Not crying. Just empty. That's when he said it. He looked me dead in the face and said, "You're barely a wife anymore." And I swear to God, something inside me just flipped off. Like a switch.
No tears. No screaming.
Just a cold, hard quiet. I nodded. "Okay, let's go to your office." He frowned. "What?" "Let's go," I said, grabbing my keys. "I want to see something." He laughed. "What are you even talking about?" "I want to go to your office." He kept laughing. But I didn't. I didn't even blink. I stood at the door and waited. Eventually he sighed, muttered fine, and got up. The whole drive he was smirking. "You think I'm hiding some girl in my desk drawer?" he said. I didn't speak. He turned up the radio and drummed his fingers on the wheel. He was so sure of himself. That smug little grin didn't leave his face until we got up to the 6th floor of his building. He opened the door to his office, motioned around. "Happy now?" I walked in, straight to the couch. I knelt down, reached under the cushion, and pulled out the voice recorder I had planted the week before. His face changed. Completely. "You were here," he said. "You left your GPS on," I replied. "It said you were at your office. So I came." I clicked play. His voice filled the room. You've got to stop calling me your cousin. It's funny, she giggled. Your wife won't find out? She's got cancer. She's barely awake most days.
Click.
I turned to look at him. He was white as chalk. I didn't say a word. I pulled out my phone next, opened a video file, hit play. Our living room. 2 nights ago. Him on the couch. Jessica sitting in my spot, wearing my scarf. He kissed her. Her hands were all over him. You were out cold that night, he said.
Sleeping.
I didn't want to wake you. That's when I knew. He wasn't sorry. He wasn't shocked. He was just annoyed that he got caught. I looked at him and said, You brought her into my house. He exploded. You're not perfect, you know. You've been completely checked out for months. What was I supposed to do? I said, Not screw your cousin. She's not really my cousin. I laughed. So that was a lie too. He looked around like the walls were caving in. Then I left. But I wasn't done. I went home. Blocked his number. Called my lawyer. Filed for divorce the next morning. I didn't tell him. I wanted him to find out the hard way. That was just step 1. Because I wasn't going to let him walk away from this like nothing happened. The day after I filed for divorce, I checked into a cheap hotel on the east side of Charlotte. I didn't want to be in that house anymore. Every corner reminded me of the lie I had lived in. I called my brother, Matt, told him everything. Matt's a locksmith and kind of a bulldog when it comes to people hurting his family. He offered to come over and help me pack up. He also offered to talk to Jeremy. I told him no, not yet. Instead, I gave him a task. I wanted security cameras in the house. Hidden ones. And a new lock on the back door. The one Jeremy always used. Just in case he came creeping back and thinking I'd take him back after the dust settled. 2 days later, Jeremy texted me like nothing happened. You're being dramatic. We can talk this out. I didn't respond. An hour after that, he showed up at the house. But he didn't have a key anymore. I watched the footage from the hotel room. He tried the door. Tried the back. Knocked for a while. Then stood on the porch, yelling through the door. I made a mistake, okay? You think you're the only one suffering. That's when I started recording everything. Audio, video, texts. I wanted a clean trail. My lawyer, Michelle, said the more I had, the better for court. But then came a twist I didn't expect. I got a call from my friend Jenna. She works in HR for a small accounting firm but used to intern at Jeremy's law office. You sitting down? She asked. I was lying in bed, weak from the latest round of chemo, but I said yeah. I talked to a girl I know, Danielle. She's a paralegal at Jeremy's firm. She said there's rumors flying. That you caught him cheating, and he's saying you had a breakdown. That the cancer made you unstable. My stomach twisted. He said, what? He's telling people that you're making stuff up. That you planted things to frame him. That you faked the recording. He said I faked the recording? I repeated.
Yep.
And get this, he told the partners at his firm that you broke into his office and bugged it illegally. He's saying he might have to press charges to protect his career. I couldn't breathe for a second. He wasn't just trying to save face, he was flipping the story. Making me the problem. I hung up and called Michelle right away. We need to move fast, she said. We're going to need more than recordings. We need to hit him where it hurts.
I sat with that for a while.
Then I remembered something. Jeremy had always been cocky, but he was careless too. He used to brag about how clean he was at the office. No paper trail.
No texts.
Always face-to-face with Jessica. But he forgot one thing. She was dumber than him. I remembered how Jessica once added me on Instagram after that funeral. I never followed her back, but I checked. Her profile was public. I went digging. She had a spammy kind of feed. Lots of selfies. Brunch photos. Inspirational quotes. Then I found it. A photo of a wine glass next to a fireplace tagged. My baby always knows what I need. Red heart hashtag weekend retreat hashtag mountains. It was posted the same weekend. He claimed he was in Atlanta.
I zoomed in.
The fireplace looked familiar. Then I checked my Airbnb account.
Bingo.
Jeremy had once booked a cabin in Boone, North Carolina for our anniversary a year ago. I still had the receipt. Same cabin. Same fireplace. He took her to the place he took me. I screenshot everything. Then I went back further in her feed. Another post from weeks before. A photo of 2 wine glasses and a blurry reflection of Jeremy's face in the window. She captioned it, "He says I'm the real one kiss mark #taken man #no regrets." I froze. #taken man. She knew. She knew he was married. She just didn't care. I saved that too. Then I did something bold. I logged into Jeremy's shared calendar from our home desktop computer. He used to leave it open all the time. Same password for everything. Chambers 1984. His favorite law professor and his birth year. He never logged out. And there it was, calendar invites. Dinner with Jay, client meetings. Even a hotel reservation scheduled under private event. He'd written Jessica in the notes section by accident. Idiot. I sent everything to Michelle. She wrote back 2 words, "He's done." I thought that was the peak. Then the mail came. A letter from my insurance company. My coverage was dropped. I panicked. Called them up, thinking it was a mistake. But no. They said the policy Jeremy had through his firm, the one that covered my treatment, had been changed. My name was removed as a dependent. Jeremy removed me from his insurance. While I was in chemo. While I was fighting to stay alive. I had to hang up because I couldn't breathe. My head felt like it was going to explode. That night, I didn't sleep. I stared at the ceiling and thought, he wants me to die. He doesn't want to deal with the divorce. The money.
The shame.
He wants the cancer to finish the job. That's when I decided. He wasn't going to walk away from this with his career. Or his pride. Or his damn name. This wasn't about a broken heart anymore. This was war. After I found out Jeremy cut me off his insurance, I went straight to Michelle with everything. She was calm, but furious. "That's attempted financial abandonment," she said. "In the middle of your medical crisis? He's trying to crush you into settling. This is strategic cruelty. But it's going to backfire." I didn't want pity. I wanted blood. We filed an emergency injunction to freeze joint assets and block any changes to insurance or financial accounts without court approval. Michelle said it would force him to stop playing games. But then she gave me a look.
"There's more," she said.
"And I need you to prepare for it." She slid a manila folder across the table. Inside were screenshots from a tip sent through her firm's email. Anonymous. It was a burner email. No name, just, "You don't know the half of it. Ask about the paralegal." Attached were photos. Jeremy. With another woman. Not Jessica. Young, maybe 25.
Blonde.
Wearing one of his firm's ID badges. More images, him getting into her car. Her sitting on his lap at a bar. Him slipping into what looked like her apartment. Different dates. Different cities. "He's seeing more than just the cousin," Michelle said. "This paralegal works under him. It could be harassment. Maybe worse." I couldn't believe what I was looking at. All this time, I thought it was just Jessica. Some gross, trashy affair with a fake cousin. But this was deeper. He'd been doing this for years. "You said he's careless," Michelle said. "This is going to bury him." I felt dizzy. Not because of the betrayal. I had already burned through that pain. But because the man I thought I married wasn't just a liar. He was a predator. I called Matt. Told him everything. Told him to get me into the house. I needed paperwork, medical files, my journals. And I needed Jeremy to be gone when I got there. Matt drove me over early Saturday morning. I hadn't seen Jeremy in person since the day I walked out of his office. He must have been caught off guard by the court order. Because when we got there, the house was dark. No car.
No Jessica.
We went through the garage. Matt kept watch while I grabbed my things. I went straight to the closet and pulled down a shoebox where I kept old medical receipts. I needed dates, proof of coverage, documents to show how long I had been under Jeremy's policy. That's when I saw something else in the box. An envelope. Unmarked. I opened it. Inside were photos.
Of me. Sleeping.
In the bathtub. Passed out on the couch. Half dressed in my chemo pajamas. Some of them looked like they were taken from strange angles above, behind. I dropped the envelope. Matt saw my face and grabbed it. His whole body tensed. "You didn't know about this?" he asked. "No," I said.
My voice was gone.
My stomach turned. I didn't even know these were taken. It was like he was collecting proof I was mentally unstable. Like he was setting up a story in case he needed to say I was unfit. Crazy. Delusional. Matt grabbed the envelope, took photos of everything with his phone, and locked the originals in his truck. "We take this to the lawyer now," he said. But I had other plans. We weren't just going to show this in court. We were going to show it to everyone. I knew Jeremy had a big fundraiser coming up. His law firm hosted one every year, a big charity dinner with judges, clients, other partners. Fancy ballroom, speeches, press photos. He never missed it. He always brought me. Except this year, he didn't even mention it. But I knew when it was. And I was going. I asked Michelle if it was legal. She smiled. "You're still his wife. If it's public, he can't kick you out." So, I made a plan. 3 days before the fundraiser, I called Danielle, the paralegal who worked at his office, the one Jenna had told me about.
At first, she didn't want to talk.
She said she signed an NDA. But then I told her about the photos, the cousin, the recordings, the removed insurance. There was a long pause on the line. Then she said, "He told me you were suicidal, that you were dying and angry at the world, that you were trying to destroy him." I nearly dropped the phone. He said, "What?" He said you pulled a knife on him, that you hit him once. It all made sense. The photos, the gaslighting, the lies. He wasn't just trying to divorce me. He was trying to erase me. Danielle agreed to help. She'd send a statement. She'd back me in court. She even said Jessica had come to the office more than once, usually late, usually uninvited. There were rumors that she had a copy of the office keys. Jeremy was unraveling. And now I was going to pull the last thread. The night of the fundraiser, I showed up in a long black wig. It looked nothing like my real hair, but it made me feel less exposed. I wore makeup for the first time in months. A dress that hung loose on my smaller frame. I was tired, still sick, but I had fire in my veins. Jeremy saw me as soon as I stepped into the ballroom. His smile dropped off his face like a mask sliding to the floor. "What the hell are you doing here?" he said, grabbing my arm. "Let go," I said, smiling for the cameras. "We're still married, remember?" He tried to pull me aside, but I walked toward the front stage, where the microphone sat. A partner from the firm was giving a speech about justice, integrity, and truth.
Perfect.
When he finished, I walked up to the mic and tapped it twice.
"Hi," I said.
"Sorry to interrupt. I'm Jeremy's wife, or soon-to-be ex-wife." The room went silent. Jeremy froze. "I just want to thank you all for coming, supporting this firm, supporting my husband, who's been so busy. Flying to cabins with his cousin, sleeping with his employees, cutting me off insurance while I fight cancer."
People gasped.
One of the judges stood up. I kept going. "I have photos, videos, recordings, witnesses. I was told I'm barely a wife anymore. But I'm still human." And he forgot that. Jeremy lunged for the mic. I stepped back and let the video play on the projector behind me, footage Matt had queued up from a USB stick. Jeremy and Jessica, kissing on our couch. Jeremy's voice. "She's got cancer. She's barely awake most days." That was the last thing the room heard before the screaming started. I walked out calmly. Jeremy chased after me, yelling my name. But the door shut behind me before he could reach me. The fundraiser video went viral within 12 hours. Someone from the hotel staff filmed my speech and posted it online with the caption, "Wife with cancer exposes cheating lawyer husband at black tie gala." His face at the end. By morning, it was everywhere. Jeremy's firm tried to spin it. They released a statement saying it was a private marital dispute and that the fundraiser was not the appropriate venue for personal matters. But it was too late. The press picked it up. The legal blogs tore into it. And someone on Twitter found Jessica's old posts, the cabin, The taken man caption, the blurry photo of Jeremy's face in her wine glass reflection. His whole career began to unravel in front of everyone. The fallout started fast. The firm launched an internal investigation. Jeremy was put on leave the same day Danielle submitted her affidavit. Her testimony was brutal, detailed accounts of late-night messages, uncomfortable meetings, and the time he cornered her in his office when she tried to leave. She had saved everything. 2 other women came forward, quiet ones, legal assistants, both under 30. The firm's HR tried to bury it, but once the video was viral, their hands were tied. Jeremy was asked to resign within a week. But it didn't stop there. Danielle filed a formal complaint with the State Bar. That started a deeper review of his conduct. Between the harassment claims, misuse of firm property, including sneaking Jessica into his office after hours, and his deliberate attempt to remove me from insurance during medical treatment, he was done. His license was suspended pending review. Without that, he couldn't work. He tried calling me. Left 6 voicemails in one night. The last one was slurred. He was drinking again, I could tell. You happy now? I lost everything. I hope you choke on it. I blocked him. But I wasn't done. See, remember those photos of me sleeping? The ones I found in the envelope? We traced them back. Matt checked the metadata. Jeremy had used a hidden camera mounted inside a smoke detector in our bedroom. He had wired it to send images to a folder on his cloud account. I turned that over to the police. That was a felony. He had no defense. The footage showed I was clearly unaware. The detective on the case even said, he probably thought he was building a fake trail, something he could use to say you were unstable. This is premeditated. They arrested him 2 weeks later, charged with invasion of privacy, illegal surveillance, and insurance fraud. He made bail, of course. His parents paid it. But the damage was done. His mugshot made the news. Every time I walked into a chemo session, someone would recognize me. I thought I'd hate that. But instead, it felt right. Not like fame. Like truth finally stood on its own legs. But here's the twist I didn't see coming. Jessica turned on him. After he got arrested, she tried to play the poor manipulated girlfriend angle. Claimed she didn't know he was married. Claimed she thought I was just a crazy ex who couldn't let go. But once her name started showing up in legal documents, she panicked. Her employer found out she worked in a dentist's office, and they let her go. She blamed Jeremy. She started talking. Sent my lawyer dozens of texts, screenshots, emails. She admitted Jeremy promised her he'd be divorced by spring. That he told her I was faking illness to control him. That he coached her on what to say if anyone ever asked. She handed over everything. My lawyer forwarded it all to the bar, to the DA, and to the civil judge presiding over our divorce. The divorce ruling? Swift. Brutal. I was granted full ownership of the house, 80% of the joint savings, all retirement assets tied to his name, reimbursement for every medical bill I had paid out of pocket after he removed me from insurance, a restraining order, and the judge's words on record. You abused your position, your marriage, and her vulnerability during a medical crisis. This court sees no room for sympathy. He tried to argue.
Tried to cry.
Even offered to settle midway through, to end this quietly. But I didn't want quiet. I wanted finished. After the court ruled, I sold the house. Donated some of the proceeds to a cancer recovery fund at the hospital where I was being treated. Bought myself a small place outside Asheville near the woods. Peaceful. Quiet. Honest. As for Jeremy, last I heard, the state bar moved to fully revoke his license. The criminal trial's still pending, but with all the evidence stacked against him, including photos, recordings, and multiple women. His lawyer is begging for a plea deal. Jessica moved out of the state. I don't think about her much anymore. But sometimes, when I look in the mirror at my growing hair, my healing body, I think about the way Jeremy said, "You're barely a wife anymore." And I smile. Because he was right. I'm not the wife I used to be.
I'm stronger, smarter, sharper.
And I buried him without lifting a single hand. Just the truth. That was all it took. That, and not letting go when the world told me to be quiet.